Solitaire video. Tonight we continue our journey to 1000 with the Naughty Dog deck. And I don't know about you, but this one looks a little extra cute, so I'm excited. Anyway, I hope your day has been well and that you're ready to relax, play some solitaire. This is gonna be fun. If you missed it, we did do a cat version of this as well, so if you're more of a cat person, check that one out, it's just as good. I almost just crapped myself looking at that. Oh my goodness. There's something about a dog that just looks extra stupid, and I love it. And then there's just something about it, okay, there's something about a cat that just is extra judgmental looking. And I am just smiling ear to ear right now. And I hope you are too, my friend. This is an awesome deck. I'm loving it. And just some pleasant jokers, so let's put these back in their box. If you're wondering where I got these from, I'll leave a link in the description. Just search up the deck and you'll find it. But anyway, let's begin our night and shuffle up our deck. And as we do that, let's begin with the question. Do you have a dog? And if the answer is no, what kind of dog would you like? And for those of you who have dogs, what kind of dog do you have? Alright, let's begin. Game number 1. Now I myself have 2 dogs and 1 cat. 2 chocolate labs named Dumb and Ass. I'm kidding. They're lovely little creatures. I love them, but my goodness, they can be very sneaky and just little hints of evil. Alright, game number 1. Let's do this. And triple nines to start. Awesome. I don't know the weirdest type of dog I've seen. Oh, I have a little story. I actually have a couple dog stories to share. So, back during the pandemic era, my girlfriend and I wanted to find ways to make some money through like gig apps, but also while doing something somewhat productive. And one of the things that we have done before is Rover. For those of you who don't know, Rover is a dog sitting app. And basically, you schedule appointments and times to see if you're a match with the person wanting to have their dog be watched, if times match up, or whatever it may be. So we're actually going to stick with this Rover stuff for a while throughout tonight, because I just remembered a lot of stories. So, the first one that came to mind, my goodness, was I watched this dog, and I never made my rates expensive. A lot of people in my area would charge, for example, to watch the dog during the day would be like $250. During an overnight stay, experience, and now we move on to game number 2. So I got this booking, is what they're called, to watch this lovely looking dog, and it was fairly large. My goodness, that is a lot of unlucky. So, this dog was a white, I think, Siberian something, and it was up to my hip while just standing regularly. And I'm not a short dude, and it surprised me when I met them at the dog, or not the dog park, just the park. It was so nice, like well behaved with its owner. And I tried fitting in my car and it fit. But if this dog were to stand up, it would be, I'd say, at least 6'6". It's not a Great Dane, but it was meaty. It had lots of fur, and it was just big. So I had to watch it for the day, and my 2 dogs obviously exist. Brought the dog I was caring for back to the house, and the owner said the dog was good with other dogs, just a little bit territorial while eating. I was like, okay, that's not too bad. So when they first meet, my dogs were one of my dogs is a complete jerk. Territorial little butthole. And my other dog is a very loving, kind, big, just loving goofball. So of course, the smaller one is just a complete jerk to the dog, testing it. And my other dog is sniffing and kissing the big white dog. So everything goes well. I'm just watching it for the day, just in case I didn't say that earlier. And then it was lunchtime, so I had to feed them. And I thought, oh, they've been getting along well, minusing my other butthole of a dog. And I decided to separate them while eating, and I let the bigger dog eat first. And all I did was just walk by the dog, and it started growling very aggressively. And that kind of took me by surprise. I was just like, okay, wasn't shared, but it makes sense, I guess. And my nice dog went up to me because I guess he was concerned since I was being growled at, and started to sniff me. And as soon as that dog, my nice dog, came close to me, the dog I was watching just became incredibly aggressive and started biting at my other dog's neck and made him yelp. And from there, I just didn't let them mingle around anymore. And it was the thing that's weird is caring for another person's dog, so you have to treat them. Well, obviously you treat animals with love and care, but you don't know exactly how to discipline them or what to say, how to act when they misbehave. Some owners I know just let them be a little rotten and just let their dog have a lot of control. Others yell at them, others like clap or whatever. I just kind of let it play out, and I don't like doing that too much because take a passive approach. And it wasn't fun. And just ever since that moment, that dog became more of a pain. It started howling similar to our first game. On to game number 3. So, just a very weird circumstance. Obviously, in the dog's description, it said loving, caring, good with other pets. Nothing precautionary, even with the owner. And I think it was only worth $40 for about 7 to 9 hours of watching and care. What are you gonna do? For California, that is very low, but whatever. It's just nice to interact with other animals, honestly. And if you get paid, it's a bonus. So, another instance, I watched a dog. I went over for, I think, about 5 days. And I was a bit hesitant on taking this booking since it was in a not so great part of town, like typically where the police radio goes crazy. But I thought to myself, well, let's not be that way about the situation. So I decided to accept the offer, talk to the owner, went through the rundown, and it was a pit bull, a gray pit bull, male. And it was very protective of the owner when I was there. And I was a bit not worried, but I was wondering how it was going to go once I was alone with the dog, since I had to go over several times throughout the day. And I think I spent the night there a couple times, sleeping on the couch. So the first time I went there, I opened the door, it looked at me, and then it tilted its head with the biggest and cutest smile you could imagine, and just ran towards me, started licking, brought a ball to me, and wanted to play fetch, so I took it in the backyard, had some fun, gave it a treat that she has approved, and just, it was so fun caring for that dog. It was so funny how it did a complete shift once the owner was gone, and how much trust it had in me. It's just always so heartwarming being next to animals, especially when they're just themselves. All depending on the owner. It seems like an animal at its heart is just a nice, loving creature that just wants to have interaction and joy, unless it's something that's a predator. Then that's a little bit different, but anyway. That was my favorite dog I watched. Just a loving, sweet pit bull. And just would jump up next to me on the couch. Rest. So well behaved. I just mention it because, one, it was a very lovely experience, and two, pit bulls get such a bad rap. I don't think that's anything new. But it's just always nice hearing a good story about them. Not one negative thing to say about that dog over how long I watched it. I even brought it back to my house to meet the other dogs. She said that was fine, and it would be good for him to meet other dogs, and they were just absolutely friends with each other. Even my butthole dog was good with him. Okay. Oh, wait a second. That's a club, not a spade. Oops. Anyway, I think I just said that. So this one is more of my girlfriend's story, but I'll share it anyway just as more of a precautionary thing, as that's our first fat stack of the night. So there was this one message she got saying, basically, could you watch my dog for 2 weeks? We would pay you $3,000 to do that. Instantly in my head, I thought, oh, that's a scam. And she thought the same. But, we both humored it, obviously, just because in case it is real, you don't want to miss $3,000 for 2 weeks. And, what was the other thing? It surprisingly, at the time, it wasn't uncommon for there to be orders like that. Not orders, bookings, my bad. As we get to our second fat stack of the night. So, sorry, I'm actually surprised we're getting so many plays. And I think that was our last one. As there's nowhere. Wait a second. Looks like this story will have to be on pause for a little bit. Let's hope for a black 9. Or an ace. There's the ace. Now let's see if we can cap off a victory. And it looks like we're gonna have to do the hearts and clubs. Hearts and clubs. 5, 6. Jump you over there. 6. 7. And I think we're good. And just like that, we have won our first game of the night. How sweet. Anyway, so we looked into it through Reddit and other things to legitimize. Is that a word? I'm too tired to tell. If it would be real. And a lot of green lights were shown with a couple of yellow lights for caution. So we just ended up going to this. Because we talked about it back and forth quite a bit. Talked about it, and up until the day before, everything was pretty much a go. Until all of these spades in order ace to king. All of the clubs ace to king. Hearts. And diamonds. So let's do this victory shuffle. Do we recover? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, ace. Yes, we do. Anyway, until we verified their check. So apparently it was a scam for there to be a priority express check overnight to be sent to a recipient. The scammer would send you a check, get your routing number and information. The check would bounce and then they could, I don't know, I just guess steal your info or get more information from you when you called them about it. We did our safeguards and just checked it before anything, and nothing bad happened, but it was interesting how quick they turned on that decision. And the thing was, on their profile, it wasn't as if it was a new account. They had bookings before, having their animals watched, and had some decent reviews. So it was kind of refreshing was right, but also a bit scummy. They can have other people prey on others or prey on kindness, and I always thought that was a little messed up. Kindness and naivety. Or try to take advantage of others' perceived greed, I guess. Because at that time, a lot of people would do anything to have that money at hand. But it's always better to play things a little more cautious and safe than not. Before we get on to our next story, let's do a rating of this deck. So obviously, the designs are nice. The back design is good. Cards are funny and cute. Everything good on those fronts. Very durable. The only thing worth judging is the texture. You can hear it. They're this type of card design that is not typical. That has a very grainy texture, loud sound. It would be good for just regular play. But I don't like the grittiness too much. Let's do this. But everything else besides that is good, just a personal preference. If this were a regular type of texture card, I'd have no issue going with an 8.5 out of 10. But just because the cards are just funky and don't feel quite right, I'm just gonna give it a 7, but still, a nice deck. Very enjoyable. Definitely will be playing with this on my own for whenever a card game calls, as we have our third fat stack. Third play. So not too bad. Alright, let's end with a positive story. And this one will be my girlfriend's, just to kind of piggyback on the other one. So, the reason why we were a bit more open-minded about that one was because she had a booking worth, I think, $1,300 through the service, and then they take away 20+%, something like that. So she got just under 1,000. Was that our third play? I think it was. Suspicious. Anyway, and she had to watch a dog for about 5 days at their owner's place. Nothing too major. And that was a nice little break for her. Decent amount just for a week's worth of while going through school. Helped out, saved it. A majority, of course, enjoyed some of it. But that's just really crazy. At the time, I didn't quite understand how someone would be so willing to spend a high amount of money on animal care. But then I remembered, they're an extension of your family. And if you have the financial flexibility to give that, especially if you don't have kids or whatnot, then of course that would be pretty much a no-doubt thought to have. And it was kind of refreshing because they were very lovely pet owners and nice people. comes to animals. I just didn't agree with a lot of their feedback and sentiment because we had to watch or trust another person one time. So we looked up rates, and just some people are just delusional, I guess. Did we win back-to-back games? There's a 10 and 10. Yes, we did. Wow. Isn't that awesome? Cool. Anyway, I'll stop on that note. I could get on a little bit of a run there, but let's keep this video positive, especially since we just won our second game of the night. Double dog, dogging down, doggy style. There we go. Comment doggy style or double doggy style for the double dub. All of the spades, ace to king, along with all of the aces, clubs, the hearts, followed by the diamonds. Victory shuffle, take 2. Alright, we almost had half the deck. Dang it. A little premature there. With a nice finish, so almost a full deck, just jack to ace missing. And after that, we have a chance for 3 victories tonight. So let's shuffle up these cards and see what is at hand for our final game of the night. Let's see if we can stack up our numbers and stats for our 1,000 journey. Come to think of it, what would you charge for walking an animal? It could be a cat, you never know. Oh yeah, you could house sit cats. That was another one we've done. House sitting a pet at the owner's place, house sitting a pet at your place, and overnight stays at your place and at their place. For our area, we love animals, just in case you didn't know. So we kind of kept ours on the lower side, because it's always fun to be with new pets and having a chance to care for them. And it led to very interesting experiences. I think the last one I'll give a quick share on is she had another, I think, $1,000 booking, and this one was done in person, so not through the service, because the person wanting their animals watched didn't want it to be through the service, since they know they took a good cut. So she had to house sit cats for like 9 days during this conference. And that was so much fun. I went with her every night to help her, since it was at a very dangerous part of town. But my gosh, those cats, I think there were 3 cats. One of them had, I think, surgery on their eye, so wasn't completely aware of the surroundings, while the other 2 just were little rockets running around. It's always funny how she got the higher orders. I bet you there's just some psychology of just trusting a woman to watch an animal over a guy. I don't know. lots of fun experiences doing that. Unfortunately, after some time, the service provider kind of went a bit to crap, so we stopped doing it. And I think they had a lawsuit against them. And that was the bigger reason why we left. Or stopped doing it. Oh, is that it? I think that's the end to our night. Nowhere for that 6. 3. Wait a second. There's a chance. How far will it take us? That's why we always double check. I know I make an occasional mistake here and then, but okay, we're good. I have seen, of course I've watched my fair share of this, but sometimes it's so painful missing it. That's why I always make a point to do a double check, as there's nowhere for that 6, 3, jack, 2, and unfortunately 10. So I gave it a run at the end, but triple 6s. And I guess that's it with the double kings. Keep us at bay. So a pretty good night. 3 fat stacks, 2 wins. Lots of animal talk. Let's see which cards were left unturned and say our good night. As we had triple 4s so quickly. Double 9s and double queens. So my friend, that will be it. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Another step closer to 1,000 and even closer to our 600th special. So with that being said, I hope you have yourself a relaxing remainder of your night. Many sweet dreams, and until we meet again, stay safe and eat your fruits and vegetables.